Hi, everybody. Welcome. So I'm trying out a new streaming platform. So today I'm going live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So welcome, everybody. For some of you, this will be new, and I appreciate you being here with me. So today I'm going to be speaking about clairvoyance, the gift of clairvoyance. And this is something I have a lot of experience with because of all my gifts, and there's a fair number of them that I have, but of all my gifts, my clairvoyance is probably the strongest. And yeah, so I am going to delve into this topic with you today, all the ins and outs about it. I'm just busy lighting some um, beautiful Palo Santo, which I got from Potion Slinger, Mika from Potion Slinger. She's wonderful. She sells really, really lovely magical goodies. So just wanting to clear the air a little bit here. And yeah, so first off, I just want to let you know that on Wednesday, the 9th of November, I will be starting a free workshop on Facebook. I've created a Facebook pop-up group to discuss how you can connect to your own frequency to develop and discover your own gifts and advance your intuition. So it's called Quantum Magic, and I have put the link below for that. So if you're interested in that, have a look. Okay. So, and then I also want to say that if you enjoy this video, I'm sorry, I'm getting used to the whole new look of it. It's not my usual YouTube layout, so everything looks a little bit different. Yeah, but I'll get there. We all have to learn, right? Okay, so if you do enjoy the video and it has value for you and it has helped you in some way and you would like to contribute, there is a link below as well for that, a PayPal link, contributing whatever you feel you want to. So there's no specific amounts or anything like that. And then there is also a link to my website, should you be interested in my services, coaching services, channeling services, healing services, whatever it is that you want to do. And on that note, I have made the decision after a lot of inner work, alignment, and thinking with my higher mind that I have decided that I'm going to simplify my offerings into one main offering, which will be a little bit of a combination of all of the above. So it will be focused around psychic channeling because that is who I am. I'm a channeler. I'm a human biological transmitter. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit in this clairvoyance topic today as well. And so it'll be one session in which there's coaching, there's channeling, there's healing, whatever it is that the person needs. It's a very one-on-one specific time with me, and it will also be a bit longer. It won't just be an hour because most of my clients require, some people require an hour. So if it's an hour, it's an hour, and some people require longer. So I think the nice, the general time is about an hour and a half. So I will be changing that soon, so look out for that. For now, things are still the same. So if you want to take advantage of what is available at the moment, please do so. My website links below. Okay, clairvoyance. So clairvoyance is one of the oldest gifts, or at least what people have always called spiritual gifts in general. They've always blanketed under this one term of clairvoyance. But clairvoyance isn't about fortune telling, even though you can tap into the future. It isn't about, all kinds of weird things. There's certain stigma and ideas about what clairvoyance is. It's often been misunderstood. What clairvoyance really is about visual communication, specifically visual communication connected with your third eye. So this is the realm of receiving visions, seeing things. And this is another thing that people often misunderstood. When someone who is clairvoyant sees things, it is not always in a physical sense. There are people that can see into the higher dimensions or the other dimensions in a physical way. They have that ability, but the majority of clairvoyant people are seeing things within their mind's eye. So that is your third eye. It's connected to your third eye. And everything that's connected with the third eye is really centered around the gift of clairvoyance, the gift of seeing things. Okay. I will be making a video soon, probably in 2 weeks' time, about clairaudience. There's also some confusion. You know, like I said, people often blanket all the psychic gifts and all the spiritual gifts under clairvoyance, but clairvoyance really only deals with the one particular part. So I will be doing a video in about 2 weeks' time about clairaudience. And clairaudience is the gift of hearing things. Okay, so I'll be delving into that a little bit more. And people have often thought that that ability to hear things is also clairvoyant. So yes, I might be getting a little bit technical here. And just a little disclaimer here that when I am tapping in psychically or channeling, and I'm tapping into information or to frequencies, to specific beings, to past or loved ones, whatever it is I'm tapping into. I might be tapping in telepathically. But when I'm tapping in, I'm not focused on, okay, now I'm using my clairvoyant ability. Oh, now I'm clairsentient. Oh, now I'm using my empathy abilities. No, it's more of a overall experience. The same way as in physical reality, when we have 5 senses to work with, we're not just experiencing things in one way unless we are, unless there's a disability which prevents you from experiencing things with with less than those 5 senses. In general, for people who have the ability to use all 5 senses, you are not going to experience the world only with your eyes and only with your ears and only with your smell or whatever. You're going to be experiencing it with all your senses. And it's the same for spiritual gifts. We experience those extrasensory abilities, or when we're tapping in, we are using all of the gifts and having more of a whole experience. Most people don't just have one gift. And this is something I'm really going to be exploring in that workshop, tapping into the different kinds of gifts that people have and how they can use their own abilities. So I'm looking forward to co-creating with everybody on that. It's going to be fun, and I am looking forward to lighting people up and trusting themselves and their abilities and realizing how magical they are, because everybody has this magic inside of them. It's not only me. Everybody has the ability to tap into their gifts and to develop their psychic abilities and special spiritual gifts. Okay. So some of the other chakras that are utilized, let's talk about the throat chakra first. So the throat chakra is also often utilized when using one's clairvoyant ability and when using one's other abilities. So when I'm using clairaudience, for example, so when that is happening, I'm usually using my third eye and my throat chakra as well. So clairaudience is connected to your third eye as well, but it is still different. It's hearing. Okay, so with the throat chakra, that is necessary to be activated so that you can receive the communication. And if you're working on, taking care of your chakras properly, you can, and you're actively opening your third eye and your throat chakra, that communication will be much clearer. And there's a few other ways to do it as well. And I'm also going to be delving into those things in the workshop on Wednesday. Again, that link is below. So if you would like to, if you don't know much about chakras, so I know for some that some people, there's not much that they know about chakras. I have written a blog post about chakra management, but it's just basic chakra management. It's not going into detail. It's basically just talking about the 7 main chakras. So that link is down below as well. And there's also a link for grounding, clearing, and protection, which is very important. Managing energy really helps you to raise your vibrations and connect easier. Also something I'll be discussing in quite a bit of detail in the workshop. The hows, the whys, the what it's all about. But in the meantime, if you're interested, you can go read those blog posts. There's quite a bit of information there as well. All the basics. Okay, so like I said, clairvoyance is really about visual communication. So there's various ways in which to see things. And I know that this is sometimes a frightening topic, especially for some people, especially for people that have seen visions or had dreams that was disturbing, and especially when they didn't know what to do with it and how to handle it. And this is completely understandable. Just like with clair empathy, you know, your gift can sometimes feel like a burden or a curse. When there are disturbing things coming through. And of course, it can happen. But this is why managing one's energy and really just taking care of your personal frequencies is so important. And really stepping into ownership of your abilities and getting to know and getting to understand what it's all about really helps with that. So, like I said, dreams are a huge part of clairvoyance. Many clairvoyant people are dreamers. Many of us are daydreamers. And we can have very vivid dreams. The flip side is also true. Sometimes we get to a stage when the dreams have been too disturbing or whatever the case may be, when we haven't known how to manage what dreams we can look into, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. We have, you know, many of us have learned the ability to not see or remember dreams. But the negative side of that is that you often wake up tired. Whether you remember it or don't remember it, people often wake up tired when they have strong clairvoyant abilities, because they've been running around and doing things all over the show and doing all kinds of things. So that is part of clairvoyance. So a tool to help you with dreaming and with how to manage that is really just as simple as setting an intention. Before you go to bed at night, you know, place some protection around yourself, and you tell your body, your higher self, your ego, your spirit guides, whoever you want to speak to, even if it's through prayer, you say what you want to experience in your dreams. This is a very important thing about managing one's gifts, is to understand that you have the authority of your field, your gifts, everything. You decide. It is always a choice. And once you realize that and understand that, it becomes a lot easier to manage these things. So set an intention whether you want to sleep, rest, heal, journey, run around, do specific work, whatever it is, you can set that intention before you go to sleep and set the intention to be protected. Okay. So all of that is possible. And with these abilities and clairvoyance as well, just like with the clear empathy, it is very, very important to be aware of your energy, what's happening. It is very detrimental to one's health, especially one's mental well-being. With clairvoyance, the mental well-being is a huge thing. So it's very important for one's mental well-being to be aware of your energy, to be aware of energy leaks, to be aware of unexplained tiredness. There is a lot around this topic. So becoming aware of your energy and how to manage it and how to take care of it and love your energy is an important thing. And that's what we're going to be discussing on day 1 of the workshop next week. By the way, you can watch the replays. I'll be going live at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, 9 November, where I'll be discussing that. And you can definitely watch the replay of that if you cannot make it at 10 a.m. in the morning, South African time. Okay, the other parts of clairvoyance, the other ways in which this ability comes out. Okay, because not everybody sees things so vividly, but there are other ways in which it comes out. And the number one way is with one's imagination. So if you have a vivid imagination and you're able to imagine things in detail, then you are clairvoyant. There's no doubt about it. And in fact, one of the ways in which to activate this ability is to actively use your imagination. This is the key to this specific psychic ability, to seeing things, is not neglecting your imagination. So if you're doing things that makes your imagination lazy, then it's also going to be harder for you to really activate this gift. And the thing that I had to realize after years and years and years of telling myself, because of my conditioning, the way I grew up, the thing that I had to tell myself was that what I'm imagining isn't always make-believe. And that is one of the key things. There are many times, and the way you can tell whether you're just making something up, because of course we have the ability to do that. And in fact, we can activate it by starting with that, right? By starting that activation process of imagining something. But the way you can tell whether what you're imagining is just something you're making up, besides you intentionally thinking about something, is the feelings that you get with it, your other gifts that are playing with it, that it becomes more of a sensory experience, not only with your clairvoyant abilities, but with some of your others. And usually that feeling that accompanies it is important. And there is another chakra I want to talk about here, and that is your heart chakra. And when you want to go into this imagination realm and you want to start playing around with this gift and activate this gift, it is very important to open up your heart. It's important to clear and work on yourself as much as possible. It is important to look after your mental and emotional health and really get to a place where you are okay with yourself and accept yourself. And really being able to tap into that heart frequency, because that heart frequency is the 0 point energy field in your personal energy body. Okay, and when I'm speaking about energy body, if you go look at the posts, if you're not sure what that's about, please do go and read the blogs that I wrote about grounding, clearing, protection, and chakra management. That will give you a little bit more information about that, especially the grounding one. So yes, it's the feelings. And if you can start tapping into that heart space and that 0 point energy field, and you allow yourself to really start aligning with your higher self and become familiar with your higher self, your true frequency, your unique frequency, then you will be able to tap into that. You will be able to feel when something's okay and when something's not okay. And your emotional guidance system really is such an important system to develop as well with any of your psychic gifts or spiritual gifts. It's a very, very important tool to use in discernment. Discernment comes in with all of these abilities. And discernment will help you determine whether something that you are feeling or sensing is real. It will help you to determine whether you need to pay attention to it or rather not pay attention to it. I'm not paying attention to that. Speak to that. Remember, you have the authority. Or if you want to, or whether it is something that you need to share with someone. So this is something very important to understand about psychic gifts and abilities, and clairvoyance in particular. Sometimes you are privy to information and you are given information of that is of a sensitive nature. Okay, it is not always for you or for me to share that with someone. First of all, some people are not ready to receive that information. And if you give this information to people when they are not ready for it, it's going to have very negative effects on them. And it will have quite often the opposite effect of what you hope for. If they are resistant to the information and you give it to them, you're really just going to push them further away from what's good for them, for what's for their highest good. So you have to get people's consent and permission. And then some information that's really of a sensitive nature. For example, if you have been able to discern or it feels like harm is going to come to someone, especially if it's someone's death, that is not for you to disclose. It is unethical to disclose someone's passing on. And the reason for that is because that person has to go through whatever they need to go through. You can, though, the reason you may be getting that information is to perhaps provide support at that time for that person, to provide some love and care, to give some extra support and help and healing or just love. So it's important when you are receiving information to determine, to ask what you need to do with that information. So important to connect with your higher self and important to practice that sense of discernment so that you know what to do with the information. Okay, so we spoke about dreams. We spoke about imagination, very important. And that leads me to the next thing. And that is art, visual art of all types. It can be design, it can be fine art, it can be video, it can be animation. You know, the list is endless. If you have an affinity for art, especially if you're tapping into really, how can I put it? Especially if you have a drive to create art that is maybe a little bit different. It's not a mainstream kind of art that you're doing for marketing or whatever. It is deeper than that. It's more than that. You have a real feeling and a sense of art, and you have a real, it's almost like when you start creating, you go into this zone, you go into another world. Literally, you're entering into another dimension. And this is because clairvoyant abilities and artistic abilities are often closely linked. This is why art has been such a big part of my life. And it's also been my safe place, my place where I could go and in a safe way explore this gift. Because it wasn't safe for me when I was growing up to say that I was sensing things or seeing things. It was put down to, it's just your imagination. And I started believing that myself. But my art was a space where I could go and really let all of that come alive and explore it and go into those worlds. And the same sometimes with watching certain films and experiencing art as well. I was able to tap into the frequencies. And for those of you that are art lovers and have a keen sense of the visual, maybe you don't create, but you have a keen sense of the visual. It's not only artists that are clairvoyant, but certainly I would say 99% of artists are clairvoyant. And I've done quite a bit of research on that. And sure, many of them may have blocked that ability and may not be connected or aware of the ability, but more often than not, it is present. It is definitely present in there for them. So again, like I said, clairvoyance is the art of visual communication, and art is a form of visual communication. Just like people who are clairaudient have perhaps other types of gifts related to that. So, and that also brings me to the something that I want to make you aware of, and that is that, there are different ways to explore an ability. There's not only one way. You do not have to be a psychic to have this ability and use it for your highest purpose. And another area in which I use my psychic gifts and my clairvoyance specifically is in healing. So I do channeled healing, but I use my psychic abilities, my clairvoyant abilities in healing. And that is because I can see and correct visually that which has to be realigned, or becoming aware of, for example, implants, seeing implants that don't belong there or that do belong there, becoming aware of different kinds of implants, becoming aware of negative stuck energy, and that needs to be cleared. So I use my clairvoyant abilities not only in seeing visions or in receiving messages or with my art, but also in healing. Very important. So being able to see people's auras, sometimes we just sense it in different ways, but in this sense, with clairvoyance, you are seeing an aura, you are seeing stuck energy, you are seeing light and beautiful energy, you're seeing positive energy. You have the ability to see energy, and you don't necessarily have to have your eyes open. Okay. Some people can see auras, for example, by looking at someone directly and seeing all the different layers. That's wonderful. I can't see those layers very clearly with my eye open. And maybe, the fact that I get distracted easily has got something to do with that. I focus better with my eyes closed, and I can see exactly what's going on with my eyes closed. It sounds like such a contradiction, but it's true. And this is what happens with my channeling. So, for example, on Wednesday, I did a remote viewing, a little bit different from my usual meditation, of Table Mountain Spaceport, and that was a nice experience. But I was experiencing it with different extrasensory abilities, but most especially with my clairvoyant abilities, and it was really wonderful. So remote viewing and astral projection, clairvoyance is going to play a very, very big part in those abilities as well, or those practices, if you like. So clairvoyance is much wider than, just seeing visions. Those are the sort of starting points, if you like, but it goes deeper than that. It actually has such a wide use, and I mean, I'm sure that there are ways to use clairvoyance that I haven't even thought of, that hasn't even occurred to me, that I have never used. And if there are ways in which you have used your clairvoyance that I have not experienced or considered, please put it in the comments. If you have questions about it, you're welcome to contact me or to put it in the comments as well. And if there's anything else you want to learn about, you're definitely welcome to do that as well. And then I just want to also let you know that I have also put some other links of other videos down below, which you're welcome to look at. And that is activating abundance through art because it's connected to this clairvoyant ability. So it's specifically for clairvoyance and art. I also included my own channeling art process. What I do when I channel art. So you're welcome to go look at that if that's something that piques your interest. I also included the link for the gift of clear empathy, should any of you want to go learn more about that. And then I also included a meditation transmission by Archangel Gabriel. So it was, I channeled Archangel Gabriel and he guided us through receiving some downloads and activations in communicating clearly and effortlessly, because clairvoyance communication comes into it quite a lot. So I included that for you as well. And then other blog posts, the energetics of art is something that I included over there. So you can go and read up about the energy of art. And that's actually quite important. So clairvoyance, like I said, we are able to often see energy, like seeing auras, seeing certain kinds of energy. And art in itself, it's not only music that has frequencies and energy, but also art. Art has its own energy. So certain art has certain energy. Certain films have certain energy. Certain photographs have certain energy. And you can pick it up. Sometimes when you look at an image, you feel uncomfortable. Sometimes it lights you up. Sometimes it uplifts you. So definitely through the way that you create, you can definitely bring energy through. So there is that as well, if you'd like to go and have a look at that. And yes, if anybody has any questions, please let me know. Hi, Chaley, welcome. So if you have any questions about anything, if I've missed anything, let me know. And yeah, and then I'm just going to do a quick little exercise to help you, a quick, simple little exercise if you would like to activate your clairvoyance and practice that a little bit. And you can go ahead and practice that anytime you want. And, I would also like to encourage you that if you're a dreamer, to keep a dream journal, because recording those dreams, and the best time, sometimes if you wake up at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning after having a vivid dream, it's good to record that dream, to write it down, or to do a voice note or something for yourself, a voice recording, or an image, even drawing a picture, just to keep it fresh, because sometimes there's a message in it. And if you're keeping a journal, whether it's a visual journal or a written journal, then you can look back and see if there's any patterns. So that is one more important thing that I actually want to mention about clairvoyance, and that is symbolic communication. So oftentimes when we receive images, we are receiving symbols, and those symbols are not necessarily always going to be the same for every person. So for example, for one person, a symbol for cancer, so becoming aware that somebody has cancer, could be actually seeing a cancer cell. So for me, I've always had an interest in biology, so I actually would like see a sick cell. It looks like a destructive kind of cell. That's what I would see. But another person might see something completely different. I don't know, like a green blob, or so this is another tool that you can use. This is a wonderful tool to help you to activate your clairvoyance, and to also develop it a little bit more. And that is to create a symbol library. So go and write down some common things that you want to know. And the reason why we want to use a symbol library is because it can bring a message through very quickly. So the meaning of what that symbol means will then be immediate. So for example, you could have sickness, you could have love, you could have there's so many things that you can really put on that list. So go and make a list of things that you want to know a symbol of, and then sit quietly in a meditative state, activating that third eye. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. And then just ask for each and everything. And then you can draw a picture or you can write it down or whatever you want to do. But I want to encourage you to go and try and create that symbol library and see what comes up for you. And if you were to do this with a friend or a family member, you might become aware that your lists look very different. So even if you are looking for symbols for exactly the same list of things, your images or descriptions might be very different. And like I said, each person's symbol is going to be different. And speaking about symbols, that's really where tarot cards originated. It originated as a game, but how it developed as a psychic tool is that, and playing cards, regular playing cards, have also been used in reading things. So really what a tarot card is a symbol. And yes, each tarot deck has got its own little book, and you know, you get oracle decks and all kinds of amazing decks nowadays. I love some of my decks, and I actually use my decks more for my own personal use. This is a really nice one, Sacred Creators. And what it really is, I'm just going to take whatever's at the top out here. I don't know. So I'm not doing a reading. I'm just using an example. What a simpler example. This is a good one. Like this one, feed your artist. Okay, so it's got a symbol, it's got color, it's got everything in it. That symbol, so the book can tell you what the symbol means, and that certainly helps in the beginning when you're starting to activate this ability. You can play with a tarot deck and just have fun with it. But you can also see what the image is telling you. So in the moment when you're doing a reading for someone, or you're doing it for yourself, even you're just doing some self-reflection, let the symbol talk to you. The same way an image or an artwork can talk to you, this card can talk to you. The best readers are going to be the ones that are not relying on the traditional meanings that much, but are going to really tap into what they are picking up for this person. Okay, so certain things in the image will jump out at them, and maybe some of the knowledge will come through, like swords or the mind and so on. But really allowing yourself to tap into what you're picking up out of that image. And that's also something I do in my art readings. So when I do art readings, I'm using visual information to give a message and to give people a visual representation of what spirit is trying to tell them. Okay, so there are so many ways to use this gift, to utilize this gift, and there's so many tools to develop it and advance it further. And yeah, this is something I'm very passionate about and I absolutely love, especially clairvoyance. It's like it really fires me up. Art fires me up. Art history fires me up. I know when I studied art, I've got a degree in fine arts. When I studied art, all of my classmates, most of them were not interested in history of art or art theory or anything like that. But I love that stuff. I ate it up. So all of that visual communication really lights me up. And if it lights you up, you know, explore it, have fun with it, and have fun with the decks if that's something that feels good to you. If it doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. Go and create a symbol library if that feels good to you. If it doesn't feel good to you, don't go and force yourself to do something you don't enjoy. And if the idea of a dream journal lights you up, then go and do it. Or perhaps you can even just do a general journal to record daydreams or symbols that you keep seeing or things that you see, and then ask what it means. This is something that we don't always do. We see something, and then especially when we're untrained and we don't know how to deal with it, we see something, we freak out, and then we try and suppress it. That's not going to work. It's going to create a bit of problems for you. So what I would advise you to do with any of your gifts, if you receive information, is ask what it means and ask what to do with it. Very important. That's something I always do. Okay, so how do you activate your clairvoyance? A simple way to activate your clairvoyance. Close your eyes. Just for focus. And then take your finger, whichever hand, and just rub over your third eye. physically. Just rub it. You're activating this third eye. You could also activate your throat chakra in the same way. Maybe it wants to go the other way. Whichever direction feels natural. Just follow your intuition. Follow what feels good. Don't overthink it. Just go for it. And then, of course, stilling your mind. So very important. If your head is full of stuff and full of anxiety and full of things, it's going to be hard to receive visuals and to receive the communication that you need. So still your mind, and then activate your third eye, activate your throat chakra, and then maybe you can start by asking a question, asking for a message, asking for a specific message, and then you can take it from there. So there are many, many ways to play with this and have fun with it. Just always making sure that you are loving and taking care of your own personal energy, and that you are in charge and not allowing others to be in charge of your energy. Very important. Okay, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a like. If you'd like to see more of my videos or learn more things, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I do lives and and upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I've got a lot of free tools available. Please enjoy them. They're there for you to use, and I'm just following my purpose and enjoying my journey and sharing what I'm learning with you. So there we go. Yeah, and if you have anything else that you want to ask or discuss, please do so in the comments, or you can contact me directly. That's also fine. Yeah, and have a wonderful, wonderful, awesome weekend. Have a relaxing one and have fun with discovering your gifts and abilities. And hopefully I'll see you in my workshop, that link below, that Facebook pop-up group, where I'm going to be doing that workshop on 9 November. Awesome. Love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.